Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of coins and collectors. And our spotlight is on a classic piece of Australian currency, the 1968 Australian 20 cents coin in very fine condition. This coin may seem ordinary at first glance, but as we explore its history, composition, and collector value, you'll discover why it continues to attract attention even today. Let's begin with the history of this coin. The Australian 20 cents coin was first introduced in 1966, marking an important moment when Australia transitioned to decimal currency. Just 2 years later, in 1968, the coin continued to circulate widely as part of everyday transactions across the country. These early coins represent a time of economic modernization, and owning one today is like holding a small piece of that transformation in your hands. The 1968 issue is especially interesting because it belongs to the early years of decimal coinage, which always adds a bit of historical charm for collectors. When we talk about condition, a very fine coin means it has seen some circulation, but still retains clear details. The design elements, including the iconic platypus on the reverse side, remain visible and attractive, although there may be moderate wear on the high points. The edges are still defined, and overall, the coin presents well, making it desirable for collectors who appreciate coins that have both history and character. Now let's take a closer look at the background and composition of this coin. The Australian 20 cents coin from 1968 is made from a copper-nickel alloy, giving it durability and resistance to corrosion. It weighs approximately and has a distinctive round shape with a milled edge. The size and weight make it one of the larger coins in Australian currency, which adds to its visual appeal. The platypus design, created by Stuart Devlin, is uniquely Australian and symbolizes the country's rich wildlife, making the coin not just a piece of currency, but also a cultural icon. Moving on to collector demand, the 1968 Australian 20 cents coin holds steady interest in the numismatic community. While it is not considered extremely rare, its value increases depending on condition and quality. Collectors often seek coins from the early decimal years, and a very fine example strikes a good balance between affordability and historical significance. Many beginner collectors start with coins like this because they are accessible yet meaningful, while experienced collectors may include it as part of a complete date set. As for the current market value, a 1968 Australian 20 cents coin in very fine condition generally ranges from around $1.40, $0 to $1.75, $0, depending on factors such as eye appeal and market demand. While this may not seem like a huge amount, it's important to remember that coin collecting is not always about high prices. It's about the story, the connection to history, and the enjoyment of building a collection over time. Some well-preserved examples or coins with exceptional detail may fetch slightly higher prices, especially in competitive markets. If you are thinking about adding this coin to your collection, there are a few helpful tips to keep in mind. Always try to purchase from reputable sellers or dealers who can guarantee authenticity. Take time to examine the coin's condition carefully, looking at details like the platypus design and the clarity of the date. Proper storage is also essential, so keep your coin in a protective holder to prevent damage from moisture or handling. Over time, even a modest coin like this can become more valuable, especially if it is well preserved. As we come to the conclusion, the 1968 Australian 20 cents coin in very fine condition stands as a wonderful example of how everyday objects can turn into collectible treasures. It carries history, craftsmanship, and a sense of connection to the past, all in a small, simple form. Whether you are a beginner or an experienced collector, this coin offers both value and enjoyment. Collecting coins like this is not just about money, but about appreciating the stories they tell and the journeys they have taken through time. Next up, today we're diving into an interesting and often overlooked coin that many collectors and everyday people might already have in their pockets or collections, the Australia 20 cents coin from 2002, especially in very fine condition. By the end of this video, you'll understand its history, its physical characteristics, how collectors view it today, and most importantly, what kind of market value it holds right now. Let's begin with a bit of history to set the stage. The Australian 20 cent coin was first introduced in 1966 when Australia transitioned to decimal currency. Since then, it has remained a stable and recognizable part of everyday transactions. The 2002 issue is not considered a rare commemorative coin, but it still holds value for collectors due to its place in the long-running series. Coins from this era reflect Australia's modern minting quality and consistent design standards. The obverse typically features Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley, while the reverse showcases the iconic platypus, designed by Stuart Devlin. Even though millions were minted, the condition of each individual coin plays a huge role in its desirability. Now, when we talk about a coin being in very fine condition, we are referring to a piece that has seen some circulation but still retains moderate detail. The major design elements are clear, though there may be some wear on the higher points. For a 2002 20-cent coin, this means the platypus design is still visible with decent definition, and the Queen's portrait remains recognizable without heavy flattening. It's not a mint-state coin, but it's definitely respectable and collectible. Moving on to the background and composition, this coin is made from cupronickel, which is a blend of this composition gives the coin its appearance and durability. The coin has a distinctive scalloped edge, which makes it easy to identify by touch. It weighs and has a diameter of making it one of the larger coins in Australian circulation. These physical features haven't changed much over the years, which adds to the consistency and familiarity collectors appreciate. Now let's talk about collector demand. While the 2002 Australian 20-cent coin is not considered rare, there is still steady interest in it, especially among beginner collectors and those trying to complete year-by-year sets. Collectors often look for coins in better condition, and a very fine example can be a nice addition to a mid-level collection. Demand increases slightly if the coin has exceptional eye appeal, fewer scratches, or a stronger strike than usual. Additionally, collectors in Australia and internationally often seek complete runs of decimal coins, and every year, including 2002, plays a role in that journey. When it comes to current market value, a 2002 Australian 20-cent coin in very fine condition typically holds a modest value. In today's market, it is generally worth around $130,000 to $150,000 Australian dollars, which is close to its but can go slightly higher depending on condition and buyer interest. In $1.75, $0, that translates to roughly $1.88,000 to $2.45, zeroth. While this might not sound like a huge return, the real value lies in building a complete and meaningful collection over time. Coins like this are accessible, affordable, and perfect for learning the hobby. For those of you interested in collecting, here are some helpful thoughts to keep in mind. Always pay attention to the condition of the coin, as even small differences can impact value. Try to store your coins in protective holders to prevent further wear. It's also a good idea to compare your coin with verified examples or consult a catalog to better understand its grade. Patience is key in coin collecting, and even coins with lower individual value can become more meaningful when part of a complete set. Most importantly, enjoy the process. Every coin has a story, and you are preserving a small piece of history. To wrap things up, the Australia 20 cents 2002 coin in very fine condition may not be a rare treasure, but it certainly has its place in the world of numismatics. It represents a stable era of Australian currency, features iconic design elements, and offers an affordable entry point for collectors. Whether you're just starting out or adding to an existing collection, this coin is a great example of how everyday currency can carry both historical and collectible value. Next up, today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the Australia 20 cents 2016 coin in very fine condition and uncovering what it's really worth in today's market. The Australian 20-cent coin has been a part of everyday life since it was first introduced in 1966 when Australia transitioned to decimal currency. Over the years, its design has remained largely consistent, which is part of its charm. The 2016 issue continues this tradition, featuring the iconic platypus design on the reverse, originally created by Stuart Devlin. This unique aquatic animal, native to Australia, gives the coin a distinctive identity that collectors instantly recognize. On the obverse, you'll find the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley, representing the coin's official status and connection to the Commonwealth. When we talk about a coin being in very fine condition, we're referring to a piece that has seen some circulation but still retains clear and sharp details. For a 2016 20-cent coin, this means the platypus design is still well-defined, with visible fur texture and water ripples, though there may be some light wear on the highest points. The edges remain intact, and while minor scratches or marks may be present, the overall appearance is still quite appealing. This level of preservation is important because condition plays a major role in determining a coin's value. Looking at the background and composition, the Australian 20-cent coin is made from cupronickel, which is an alloy of this gives the coin its silver-like appearance and durability, making it resistant to corrosion and suitable for long-term circulation. The coin weighs and has a distinctive dodecagonal or shape. This shape is not just visually interesting, but also functional, making it easier to by touch and harder to counterfeit. Millions of these coins were minted in 2016, which means they are not considered rare in terms of mintage, but their condition and collector appeal still matter. Now, when it comes to collector demand, the 2016 Australian 20-cent coin sits in an interesting position. Since it is a relatively modern coin and widely circulated, it does not have the rarity factor that drives high prices. However, collectors who focus on complete year sets, condition upgrades, or thematic collections, such as wildlife or Australian currency, still show consistent interest in coins like this. A very fine example may not be a headline-grabbing rarity, but it's a solid and reliable piece for building a complete and visually appealing collection. Talking about the current market value, a 2016 Australian 20-cent coin in very fine condition typically holds a modest value. In most cases, it is worth around $1,030,000 to $170,000 Australian dollars, which is close to its in some markets or collector settings. It might reach up to $2.48, 0 Australian dollar, if it has particularly eye appeal or is part of a larger set. Converted into $2.70, $0. This generally falls somewhere between about and depending on the exact sale context. While this may not sound like a big profit, it's important to remember that coin collecting is not always about high monetary gain. It's also about history, enjoyment, and long-term appreciation. For collectors, there are always smart strategies to keep in mind. Paying attention to condition is key, so storing coins properly in protective holders or albums can make a big difference over time. Even modern coins can increase in value if they remain in better condition than most circulating examples. It's also helpful to watch for errors or unusual variations, as these can significantly boost a coin's worth. Building complete sets, rather than collecting random individual coins, can also enhance both the value and the satisfaction of your collection. And perhaps most importantly, patience plays a huge role. Today's common coin can become tomorrow's collectible as time passes and availability changes. In conclusion, the Australia 20 cents 2016 coin in very fine condition may not be a rare treasure in terms of high market price, but it holds undeniable value in the world of numismatics. It represents a piece of Australia's modern history, showcases iconic design, and offers collectors a dependable and meaningful addition to their collections. Whether you're just starting out or expanding an existing collection, coins like this remind us that every piece has a story, and sometimes the true value lies beyond the price tag.